And now, ladies and gentlemen, our losers bracket games continue. This one, a bit of a Cinderella story. That is, if you didn't give Cinderella a carriage, instead it was a large charged particle laser that you used to suck everybody into a never-ending black hole. Of course, the Washington Justice now with the addition of Decay, who Xayah especially has looked very, very good. Looked pretty good, Matthew, against the San Francisco Shock yesterday. They don't quite get all the way. It had to be reverse sweep from our defending Overwatch League champions, which is not something that's ever already happened. Definitely not at the hands of the Justice. So they continue now in the lower brackets. But I think everyone's expectations are very high for this roster.
And it's kind of, I mean, well, look, it's odd, right? You know, you're the Washington Justice, they do not look competitive really all year long. They get Decay right before the playoffs, you know, a balance patch, and then all of a sudden they're like right in it, where they have a chance. And I think some people would probably even consider them the favorites today against the Paris Eternal, which is really odd to say considering how Paris has performed throughout the year. They've been one of our more consistent teams through numerous metas. This one, though, was so different, one like we never had before.
Do you remember Stage 4 last year, Matthew?
Yeah, I do.
Long time ago now. The Justice have a habit of coming alive right at the end of a season, and last time it was because of a balance patch change or a change to the game. And you could say the same about this particular occasion. A very close 3-2 series yesterday, where we got to really see Stitch and Tuba show a lot of their versatility since Decay was providing so much consistency in the front line. They're looking like a team that's really out to do some damage now. And San Francisco had no idea what to do. I mean, was it one of the fastest Kings Row attacking times that we'd ever seen yesterday?
And I think what allows the Justice to look this good is like a combination of two things. Like, Decay and Janu very good on both Zarya and Roadhog respectively. Same with AimGod and Arc. Really good on Ana and Mercy. Like, Mercy is like Arc's best hero. Where the biggest question mark would have fallen for this team is with the damage dealers, with Tuba and Stitch. Stitch has played really strong on like Ashe and other hit scan rolls, and then Tuba has shown us stuff with his hero pool that we didn't really think he had. We thought more of like a projectile player. We saw him play a little bit of hit scan, but now playing Tracer, playing Sombra, he's excelled in that role, and that's what's really allowed this Justice team to click and rattle off, I know, some wins early on, and then almost a win there against the Shock.
Yeah, and Janu, of course, is really quite a storied individual when it comes to sort of playing the Wrecking Ball and the Roadhog. Like, these are heroes that really suit him. So the stars are aligning for this team right now, and they're going up against an opposition, man, that I feel like look really unsettled in this current meta. Look, they almost averted sort of getting ruined yesterday. They came back in that series and made it really competitive, but they didn't start strong against the Atlanta Reign.
No, and I think what'll be the question today is like, what do we see different in terms of like tank line here for the Paris Eternal? How do they decide to play this in terms of their damage dealers? Where they've excelled is in you know, kind of subbing people in and out, using the roster pretty effectively. This meta may be a little bit different though. The starters for this series, you see Ben Best and Hanbin in terms of tanks. You're not going to see Hanbin really change out, most likely. They will play Ben Best here though, because you do have Lijiang Tower. So just like how we saw the Shock sub super in for Lijiang Tower, you do want your Reinhardt player in here.
Here's the Paris Eternal. Well, a bit of history on them is that, you know, they obviously, you know, did play during that Goats meta, right, where Soon actually was playing Xayah. So, you know, they do have the option to shift the DPS player onto Xayah, but they didn't look good when Soon was playing Xayah. The Justice are definitely going to probably get more out of Decay in that role.
Oh, yeah, without
the Paris Eternal, I mean, we see Nico mixed in here. Ben Best and Nosmite also fairly interchangeable. The Justice are going to make zero substitutions.
No, yeah.
None. The Eternal likely will actually be rotating sort of players off the bench.
If you're the Justice, you really, like, kind of with the lineup you had, you wouldn't have been here. You wouldn't have had a chance. So you ride or die with this. Like, even if this doesn't work, you just keep going. Like, there's no other way I could see them really. Like, let's say if they wanted to put like Roar in the main tank, and then you have to, what, probably sub like Tuba or Stitch out to put Decay in the damage dealer role. That's a roster that we've seen kind of lose to a lot of teams consistently. So you may as well ride it out with this style if you're the Justice. See how far it can take you. I believe with how they played against the Shock, this is a team that could have a lengthy run in the loser bracket. They have to get by Paris here.
Look, Raw is seamlessly fairly transitioned into like an oversight and support and sort of almost coaching role as well, as we've heard in the backline of this team. So the Justice now are getting tons of value out of maybe places or players that they didn't expect to. This is them firing on all cylinders now, and the Paris Eternal need to shake the jitters off from yesterday. This is that second chance they earned from getting into the double elimination bracket, but this is their last chance. They can't be losing any more matches. And they're going to start by moving on to the points to use Benbest here to really take control, whereas the Justice go with double off tank into this Reinhardt.
Oh, what a sleep tart there from Aim God past the defense matrix. I don't know if you're going to be able to capitalize on it at all, though. It'll be the Paris Eternal who take the point first. As you see, they're not even like really kind of playing with the Reinhardt on the point. They're trying to conserve this shield the best they can.
Yeah, I mean, you can see desperately Benbest trying to break line aside, and that's the only reason why Soon gets left in the first place. Needs to drop his shield every now and then. Good burst damage on the Johnny, though. He had no time to take a breather while he was in his hooking animation, but Soon's been removed. Now Tuba doesn't really have too much to worry about anymore if he wants to push forward on this Farah. Arc attempted to resurrect by the looks of things. It was interrupted by Sparkle's hack, so the Eternal is still making it difficult for Washington. But eventually the Justice take control. How does this... Okay, I know you want to say something, but tell me how this Reinhardt interacts against this double off tank. It seems awkward for Benbest.
He needs to get close, right? So like, what they try and do is like bait them into the point, try and get players moving through the choke, and then you can empower Benbest with the Lucio speed boost, maybe a biotic grenade on the Roadhog, and let him swing and do some work. Use the defense matrix as well to kind of keep him alive. If you can't do that, it's really difficult. Subo with a barrage takes out Soon from above.
And that is unbelievable. Soon goes for a Deadeye. Tuba just dropped a rocket-shaped Kuki on top of him with the barrage and gets an extra kill. The McCree really isn't getting much done here. Soon has died both times to Tuba here.
Yeah, they end up having an EMP go out during that as well. So Paris now uses two of those big ultimates. Who is the nano boost target here for Paris? Is it the Reinhardt? Is it maybe McCree? They're gonna get EMP'd here. It looks like that's just Sparkle putting some pressure on the point, potentially.
Eternal want to try and join him now, but that's an EMP on a 3 players, but not FD God, crucially. So Sound Barrier is deployed and planned, but Soon and Sparkle both get caught inside the grab, and that was incredible from Hanbin. Immediately steps up and knocks Decay away from the Graviton that he let down. That allows Paris to keep their damage dealers alive, and Hanbin gets 2 kills. What a superstar Hanbin is. It was all him in that fight.
Yes, I believe he's the recipient of the nano boost as well to keep him up through that, but that did not, it didn't look like it was going to go well for the Paris Eternal to start big sound barrier though from FD God, and then the plays from Hanbin. Allow them to flip the point back, but you notice now, Mitch, they're not playing back on the choke, they're playing further out here. This is quite dangerous.
FD God has 2 final blows already, doing FD God things. Oh, get the shatter is perfect. Both tanks knocked down. Johnny blown up before he had a chance to get up, take a breather. Decay doesn't have a personal bubble left, and Benbest ensures that he is removed in his entirety. 58% and counting now. The Justice fall behind in another fight.
So just look at Benbest, right? Taking shots from every direction. The rockets from the left, the Sombra poking from the right-hand side. A really nice shatter, though. He actually sidesteps Hanbin, gets hooked on in by Janu, and then he just follows up the Diva Mech with the Nerve Shatter and no shield, so there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, and that's the dangerous part here. That's why I thought maybe Benbest would get the nano beforehand, just because more shatters that are uncounterable essentially could be a big thing. Tuba, oh, he's able to get away with that one. Somehow the nano boost damage reduction prevents him from dying to the Deadeye. Soon thought he had it dead to right. That was not the case. Benbest is removed. Soon now has no shield to hide behind, and all of the Eternal will be forced back as their centerpiece is brought to his knees.
Did you see how much they invested in Tuba there? Nano boost, bubble, the Mercy Pocket, just to keep him up there through the barrage. But now the barrage, it allows them to walk onto the point. They get one player, and then they are able to take the point back as Sparkle trying to line up a big EMP here.
My guy, Tuba's out here with 40% of his team's damage, bro. Invest everything in him. Bye. Tuba stomps now. Sparkle gets himself attempted EMP there, and that sound barrier from FD God will be stripped from the hapless Paris Eternal individuals. And they will be forced off the point once more as the Justice continue a trend that began yesterday and is shocking us every time. The first round on Lijiang Tower to the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, and you know, Sparkle is waiting for his teammates to come on in. To lose 2 before that EMP goes off is really rough. And especially because it puts FD God in a position where they have to use Sound Barrier to keep players alive on the point because everybody's running so low. But allows Stitch to just pop his EMP and just take all of that away. So, we'll take a look, a replay here from Tuba's POV. Some nice rocket there on the Soon. Some other kills to go down on the point here.
So here's that. Yeah, look at that. 3 players lose Sound Barrier there. FD God had no choice. He was already losing teammates, but that was exactly what Stitch was waiting for, man.
So here we go. Now they're gonna play Junkrat, Paris. As Washington still, they don't care. You know, you wanna play stuff that would just burn down the shield. We don't care. We're never using a shield. Paris, they all play double shield plus Symmetra. I wonder how Symmetra fares against this. And I say that because a lot of Symmetra's damage comes from farming it on the barriers, but no barriers here to do that.
No, you're dead right. Soon maybe hoping just to get some value out of the mobility that teleport offers. Well, Stitch just, I guess, put him in a body bag. 2 for 2 trade though, and with the Mercy down to the Justice, they can't sort of equalize that. But Decay is so charged up. Look at him. It's orbital land striking people.
That's a former Decay.
Hello.
So he just rolls onto the point, says what's up. I believe I saw Sinatra refer to it as he was getting the Michael Jordan treatment yesterday in the shot game.
He was indeed. In fairness, compared to GOATs, Zarya players have like half the average energy. Normally they used to have like 60%. K's like 30, but in a fight like that, right, you want a long fight. Mercy reses, Zarya gets stronger over the course of it, and of course your Sombra charges EMP, so the longer it goes, the better.
A barrage comes through, they get 1 with it. This will be a fight win again here for the Justice. What's interesting as well is like running like double shield and like the Lucio and what they're trying to run. Like, they're going to really, like, run down Janu here and try and, like, biotic grenade him. But that, like, using a bubble on a Janu when, like, the Reinhardt's getting in his face, everybody's putting damage, like, Decay is going to get charged up so fast. Also, the Pharah is interesting here, too. We talked about it in the past. Like, I mean, I kind of, like, I think it could be pretty bad on this map. But the way that they're playing it, like, so, like, look at Tuba and the angles he's taking. Like, it almost makes it impossible for Soon to get any line of sight. So, Tuba really playing this Pharah well here at a point where you don't really see it played at all.
And this McCree, Sombra, Reinhardt, it seems a bit antiquated actually compared to the competitions we see. Maybe this is why Soon now is hacked. So is BenBest hit with a biotic grenade to boot. So his line's gotten a bit harder. He gets given a nano boost to try and keep him alive. And Sparkle's able to deal with Stitch. Heroic charge across the point for BenBest now, trying to shut down this Roadhog. And Janu is hit with a bio grenade of his own. The Eternal, they flare up and come to life in the final moments. Not a moment too soon either, Matthew.
Ooh, they needed that fight win. And now they may be able to get like 2 or 3 fight wins out of this, right? Shatter when they're coming through, they don't have any type of shield. You'll have to have Decay hit like a bubble or hit a bubble on a Janu or use a bubble himself to block this. And then they have EMP on the other side for Paris Eternal. You could easily EMP Shatter, just combo those two, maybe get a fight win.
I mean, Soon has 1 final blow right now. He has not been able to deal with Tuba. I would wager that 1 kill probably wasn't even on Tuba at this stage, despite Pharah being so susceptible to hit scan pressure. Soon has had so many other warriors. That flashbang doesn't connect, so Stitch knows that he gets to linger and just strafe a little bit. But immediately blowing up Sparkle with a nano, with the damage boost, should I say. And FD God out-killing Soon by 4-1, by the way. Now that's going to be hard, as Soon's able to find a couple on the backside that Deadeye deals with Arc. Yeah, good. You better hear me. The Eternal now step up a little more. Self-destruct there will help clean things up.
That boot from FD God just knocks Janu into the line of sight of that self-destruct. And Paris, they win that without even investing in their EMP. So they hold on to their EMP, they hold on to their Shatter. Opportunity for them to take the lead here if they win this next fight.
Crucially, they have an Earth Shatter that cannot really be blocked unless Decay gets close enough with his own personal bubble. He will essentially be able to block that Shatter. No, not the case this time. It's a big one. Decay gets cleaned up pretty comfortably there as the EMP from Sparkle also was used.
Yep, EMP plus Shatter, you get that fight win. The scariest part will be this next fight coming up. You might get a nano. You might get Sound Barrier, but they have grab a whole hog, nano boost here. Do the Justice, so real good chance for the Justice to take the point back.
Paris Eternal will need to display some grit here if they want to take this fight out. Tuba, harassed by Sparkle there, nano boost given, so he needs to now get value out of this. Well, he does. Ben Best is forced to use his shield as a parasol briefly, and there it is, the sound barrier from FD God. Stitch is actually holding onto the EMP right now. Decay doesn't seem to care about the sound barrier. He's already found 2 kills. FD God is hacked, kept away from the action. Stitch, no interest in EMPing unless it's really necessary. So Justice get the point back, and in the dying seconds, they have huge ultimates to spend.
They knew they didn't need the EMP. They had the advantage when the sound barrier came through. Decay just kind of spot checking for Sparkle there. Actually, he spots him there, so Sparkle forced to translocate. That'll be an EMP. Connects with nothing, though.
Yeah, Ben Best did have his shield taken away, but then he gets hit by a blinding grenade from Fielder. 2 for 2. Tuba going to be the hero of this situation now. He's found 3 kills and a barrage to secure the 4th. Sparkle goes down and Harpin is desuited, and this fire is causing all sorts of problems. The Paris Eternal now down to the last trickle of players. Tuba tries to go for a predictive rocket on Harpin and finds him. Gets rid of soon as well. On top of the world is Tuba. The marching man comes in. He's at the lead with 6 kills in the last fight. And the Justice take map number 1.
That was clean there from Tuba. 2v1 on the point. Only one alive. Deals with 2 players. The direct on the Sue there. The 1v1 at the end. Puts it away. And the Justice look like that. There's no slowing them down when they're running this comp. You're going to have to see Paris, make some adjustments going into map number 2. I don't think you can play Reinhardt. You probably just see that here for Lijiang Tower. But just like we saw in the last series, where the Gladiators, they started to look much better against the dive when they ran this Roadhog Zarya comp, the Justice are really good at this composition. So I don't know what Paris is going to go with here. Do they try and go play some of the dive? Do they try and mirror it? I think we'll find out as soon as we see the roster.
Sparkle's the star player here for the Paris Eternal, man. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. But he has to play Sombra right now. So he's not really been empowered. He's not in a position to take the game over like he was able to on Genji. That performance, that pedigree that was giving him sort of nominations for MVP, right? He has to play Sombra and provide more utility than killing potential. The other damage dealers on this team need to step up, whether it's Soon or Nico, whoever it is. Tuba is dominating right now. He has the luxury of having someone like Stitch handling Sombra duties. His Pharah looks ferocious. The Justice look a cut above. And the Eternal need to make some changes. We'll see if that occurs when we come back from map 2 on the other side of these messages.
Operating at your max. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
It's Puckett back in the spawn room, and it's time for another Name That Player. I've got 3 clues about an Overwatch star. You gotta tell me who I'm talking about. Here we go. One of 2 NA players to play over 3 hours of Sombra. Leads the league with 588 career final blows as Sombra. Looks great in green. Do you know this one? That's right. It's the Minecraft monster, Dante. You know him, you love him. Congrats to everyone who got the answer right in the chat. Make sure you stay tuned because we have so much more coming your way right now here on the Overwatch League 2020 playoffs.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Map 2 is just around the corner between the Washington Justice and the Paris Eternal. The latter, who was absolutely a favorite going into the playoffs based on their performances throughout cups that we've seen over the last few months. That may have changed now that they seem a little bit less solid in this current meta, and they've had the misfortune of running into the Washington Justice, reinvigorated in the losers bracket.
I think it's a combination of the two, where I don't think Paris is probably like bad in this meta per se. Like, they have all the pieces in terms of damage dealers and whatnot. You would want to rotate in and out to make it work. I think they've just run into a team that's on fire right now and playing the best Overwatch like some of them have even played in their whole careers, right? So I think that's really kind of how you feel for Paris right now. Paris does make some subs. They do pick Numbani for map number 2. Nico will come in for Soon, and then you'll have No Smite come in for Ben Best. So what this tells me is they want to play aggressive, they want to play dive, they want to play something with the Winston in play. What I would not be surprised to see them mess with the Genji here. I don't think that would be that big of a shock to see them try and play some type of Genji type of composition, the Paris Eternal.
All right, we've seen Washington deal pretty handily with that kind of setup on this map, though. We've already talked about that kind of cursed Dallas Fuel game we saw a few days ago. Also, it could just be Nico on the Reaper, right? Like Sombra
you
Reaper,
could play like,
standard
or
setup.
even May Reaper potentially. But if you were gonna play May Reaper, would you play it with a Winston? Like,
am I right in saying that No Smite played Zarya on Hangzhou back during Goats with Gushui on main tank?
No, they would play. They played Godsby on the.
That's
Zarya.
right, Godsby. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, so we maybe don't expect that from No Smite, but we know that his Winston is the biggest part of. I mean, why he's such an important part of this Paris Eternal roster. It really complements Ben Best in terms of hero pool intersection. Yeah,
I think if you were going to see them play like a Roadhog Zarya composition, you would probably see like either Nico or Soon go into the tank role and have. I mean, Nico's played off tank in the past, right? We've seen him play Diva. We know he plays a little bit of Zarya. Soon really like the Zarya player though of those two. So we'll see what Paris Eternal decide to run on defense here to kick things off. They could play Pharah of their own. It looks like here on defense though, Sombra Reaper may be what it is.
All right. So something fairly standard, at least to start with. For the Paris Eternal, we're going to have the Moira here on defense. I mean, yeah, it's been a little while since we really saw this approach being in vogue, as Ana was always so favored. We've seen teams play Mercy Ana on defense here, especially if they try to get some value out of the Ashe. Also, if they, wanted to try, you get used out of Genji on offense, do that.
It's a different approach. Instead of trying to biotic grenade the Roadhog and kind of deal with him that way, deny healing, this is more of provide healing to the team, push past the Roadhog, deal with some of the other players. The Reaper can deal with the Roadhog, kind of like on his own, maybe with a hack, but it's a much different look. We'll see how the Justice adjusts to this type of setup.
Janu probing early on here as the Eternal just try and do a little bit of safe scouting, see what the Justice have. They may not know about Stitch's presence yet. Would now, though, as they could tab and see. Here's the push. The Eternal want to be the aggressors here, and Janu gets caught out of the action for now. He's kind of out at sea, and so now the Justice have no choice but to try and sit on the point as fired. This means the Eternal have to act fast.
Stitch. Yeah, they let Stitch just die, and the rest of them just mosey onto the point. Yeah, this is not going to work out there.
I love that. And you saw like what it's like to be in Janu's position. He's Roadhog. He doesn't have the mobility to make a correction in positioning like that, trying to go back and get Stitch.
Yeah, he heads back towards his spawn. He's not going to save Stitch, and they're just going to kill him anyway. So it really is stuck in a spot where it can't help the team at all. But then the rest of the Justice are by Johnny. They're right around him. So I see maybe they can like bait them in onto Stitch into a position that they can kind of react. You see right here, they're coming up the mid. They have to know this is coming on to Stitch in the back.
Stitch down again. Paris find the dive, but Johnny might be causing him some headaches here by getting Nico out of the pack early on, and Decay is charged up. Here's that EMP, so Decay's trying to fight in the shade for the time being. Lessons here though, kind of hard to stave this kind of damage off here, and even though a bubble got delivered to Janu, he eventually falls. Decay gets nano boosted here. It looks like the Justice want to commit, so Hilda's forced to fade away. But Ark's down to a self-destruct, and I think the Justice are going to have to go again.
I was surprised they invested the nano boost there. I mean, maybe they thought Decay was charged enough to just deal with Hanbin, but you still had spawners coming on through. But you see how the Justice want to play this. They want to get to the point. If you're able to get a hook and a kill, great. Now if you can force this fight on the point, the Eternal have to respond because how close you are to actually taking the point, and then you can just follow that up with an EMP of your own.
Tuba will lie in wait here. Hack from the high ground. Janu unable to hook or heal. And here comes the dive. So Tuba reveals himself. This forces No Smite down to the low ground. He actually used his rocket pack. He didn't just drop down. So that leaves No Smite on the low ground for a little bit. That's the cooldown. He's back in the fight now. Goes for a Primal Rage. 3 players hit with an EMP, but Empty God's able to get a pretty darn big sound barrier. Decay realizes that, well, he may be somewhat charged. They're going to need Tuba back in the fight again, maybe for another hack. Bob comes in straight to the point with that EMP. Hits hard and Decay's forced away. Even the Bionic Grenade from Aim God's not enough to keep those tanks alive. Nico doubles down with a big Death Blossom. And the Eternal now should be able to take a moment here and clean this fight up.
Huge plays there from Paris, being able to withstand a lot of those ultimates that the Justice threw at them. The big EMP, but FD God's there with a sound barrier, then they get aggressive with the Death Blossom right after. The Justice, though, you can use your EMP to bait out their sound barrier. Now they make some changes. They put Stitch on the Reaper and Arc on the Lucio. As now this is a opportunity where who does the Winston die for the Paris Eternal? It'll be much harder. And you have the grab here. Nano boost 2 for the Justice to try and just get one more tick on this point.
So No Smite has to realize this now, that he can't play quite the same way. That Stitch could... Oh my... What? Sparkle? 2 headshot kills on Stitch and Arc, and the Graviton surge there for Decay. Unfortunately, not really giving the Justice enough space to breathe. Still, they find 3 kills. 2 of those will support. No way. Nico going to push back to the point now. It's essentially a 2v2, but Hanbin gets hacked. He's in trouble. Desuited now, but Nico comes back in with the Hellfire shotguns. Akimbo, whole hog's going to force him back into the left-hand corner. He can't touch the point. Overtime, when the capture is underway once more. Empty God comes in with a move, gets rid of Janu. Tuba has to translocate away. He'll return to the fray in a moment, but will it be quick enough? Bionic Grenade, it's huge! 3 players hit, Nico can't get any lifesteal with the Bionic Grenade on him. Aim God sits in the background now, and it's No Smite with a lot of health to work with, but Decay steps up with a little bit of shielding, and the force is there! Aim God gets rid of No Smite, and somehow the Justice have captured point A! What an incredible fight! The Justice march on!
That is a backbreaker there for the Paris Eternal. The fact that they played that as good as they possibly could. They get 2 players right at the beginning of that. Sparkle is able to get rid of the Lucio and the Reaper. Like all of like the speed and the engagement would have punished them. They get rid of right away. And they just lose, like they lose out in the trade somehow after that. You have Decay pick up a few, Tuba as well. Janu gets the whole hog on the point. That is a tough loss there for the Paris Eternal. I think if you're a Paris fan, you just hope that doesn't result in a snowball here for the Justice.
Unbelievable stuff from Aim God in their previous fight, and that EMP definitely silences the Paris Eternal in more ways than one. Janu now can just pressure with the scrap gun. And look, it's worth bearing in mind just how susceptible, Reaper is to getting, hit with the bio grenade like that. Like, he wants to hang in the fight. The whole thing that prevents him from just Wraith walking away instantly is the fact that he can self-heal. So that was incredible from Washington.
But look at that one fight for the Justice. Like, you don't know what this does for the Paris Eternal. Like, they're just mental after losing a fight like that. Now they have to come back and contest here. It's going to be a Death Blossom from above. Good sound barrier there from FD God.
Perfect. Sparkle able to get a hack there as well as an EMP, so he's able to stop Stitch in his tracks. Decay's in trouble now. It looks like Nico went for a Death Blossom of his own, but it doesn't quite work out. This is definitely a mental break for the Paris Eternal. They should have won that fight. They had every reason to be victors there with the sound barrier and EMP combo looking so good in concert. And still the Justice able to endure.
And now when you lose that fight, you set up the Justice for a potentially grab plus an EMP here. It'll be Stitch going back now onto the Ash. So maybe you feel like with the way the map plays at this portion of it, you can do a better job protecting him than you did early on.
Here it comes.
The Dynamite, that's more for scouting purposes. The only thing, if Stitch gets ticks, he knows that there are people around that corner. In the back line though, harassed now by Sparkle. Decay extremely charged up, and Heartbeat can't really do anything about Roadhog and D.Va. Neither of them really care about your defense matrix. Hook goes through it. So does Zaya's primary fire.
It's a grab from the high ground coming from Decay. It looked like he was going on a bit of a flank.
He doesn't need it. Yeah, he doesn't need it. Stitch gets rid of Fielder there, just the last little bit of health, and Nico, yeah, nothing he could do about that, and he knew it. 1 minute, 23 seconds left in the round. Arc, for tempo purposes, will keep Decay back. He'll have to regain that charge, but there'll be plenty of chances to do that here.
It's a big risk, though, because him walking back with that grab, that's the win condition for this next fight. So having him back up and in the fray is huge for the Justice, who are just trying to finish this map with some time in the bank. Just huge. It would be a big turn of events from what it looked like it was going to be early on.
Decay charged up, indeed. Fielder's able to get the coalescence to buy some time for the Eternal, but you can see Decay doesn't respect it that much. He knows he can push on in here. He just has to make sure Hanbin doesn't shut down this Graviton surge. And then this round is as good as over. Pushing up, there's the grab. No Smite's caught in. There's no chance they can keep the Winston alive. Bomb deployed to the backside of the point now for some extra firepower. And here's an EMP, but it's too late. Decay has already taken everything from Paris. And that's the round. 38 seconds remain, and the Justice finish Numbani.
Oh, that is a brutal defense for the Paris Eternal. Like, that was going so well for them, and then that just... Oh, that one sequence. Sparkle opens it up with 2 kills, Mitch. He gets both a Stitch and he gets Arc, and they're not able to do it. Let's take a look at this from Decay's POV. I mean, look, 90% charge on the Zarya. He's got his nano boost going. Why?
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
Why not?
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
Give that guy even more resources. I'm good with it. If you are the Justice, you pump him with all the heals he can get. You give him every additional ultimate, whether it be nano boost, Salbear, whatever you got, you keep him alive.
The rest of the salary cap as well, all of it.
If he gets low, you stand in front of him, you take the shots. You keep that guy alive, whatever you got to do.
You keep that Michael Jordan treatment coming.
Yeah, essentially they're playing protect the VIP as well, the Justice.
Except the VIP has a shield and a laser gun.
Yeah.
And does more damage than his bodyguards. But he's still protected by them.
Roadhogs is a pretty solid bodyguard, you know.
Yep, still less damage done than Decay.
Yeah.
But Janu?
This may be an opportunity, though, for Paris to set a pretty good time. And I say that because with the way the high ground here is, they were making progress, Paris. Taking out Stitch when he was playing this Ash. The dives were good and they were not able to, they didn't really get punished that much. So potentially here with the high ground and the Justice being split, you might be able to take advantage of it.
All right, low ground, speed boost with Lucio here, something that the Justice just don't have available. The hook from Johnny misses again.
The long
now
grab.
To the high ground, the Eternal go. This is a rope-a-dope attempt now. Paris can make some use of the high ground. Not really sure what heroes are best suited on their roster for this, but they just want to outmaneuver. No Spite, he's used his jump though, so he has to sit here.
They've eliminated Stitch from anything. The Stitch has fallen all the way back here.
Oh my. Looked like that was a coach gun that actually pushed them back, and Hanbin gets a little bit too far ahead and blown up by a face full of scrap metal from Janu.
Yeah, it's also a nice dynamite that puts down a ton of extra damage there. But with the way they rotate to the high ground and push Stitch all the way out, he's not able to put down any damage. Like, they could have wrapped to the point at that moment, and then if Stitch would have kind of showed up by the bus, you could have just dove him with like one player, maybe even two, taking him out that way. So the Paris Eternal, I think they're going to go for the same type of thing again. Try and get this high ground. Yeah.
Hanbin here with a biting grenade though, that's not good, but no one's really paying him any attention right now as Fielder had the coalescence. There it is, Johnny's removed and Aim God is gone. So the Eternal have 2 big essential healers that just aren't available anymore. FD God is everywhere at once, but Decay manages to lock onto him there as Bob locks onto his next unlucky target. Nico will just try and clear him off, and now the Eternal moves to a cap. They've got 5 players to work with here.
Two has got an EMP here though.
On to 5 players, exactly what you need, and Sparkle's in trouble, he can't get away, and Decay is covered for him with 94 charge and a Graviton Surge to boot. Now the Eternal are stuck here with 4 players.
They're doing a nice job though, Paris, the way they're moving around the map, denying Stitch like that big opportunity to put down damage on the Ashe. So I think the Eternal here is just kind of sitting around waiting. We still have 1 player off the spawn here for Paris, so they're still waiting for Sparkle to come back, and he's got this EMP.
I mean,
another speed
fine,
boost
he'll
to
get
the
back
high ground.
undetected. 5 players for Eternal now, of course.
He does get
God
detected. He runs into Tuba, and Tuba puts some shots in him, so you have to wait some more for Sparkle here.
That's the risk. If Sparkle wants to join up with the Eternal, he has to play in close quarters, at least for now. And getting out of close quarters means you get a face full of that. Damage boosted Roadhog hook combo, by the way. Kind of filthy. Hanbin can't do anything about Decay as well. A brief wave as he is sent packing, and yeah, I think Sparkle realized he needed to find the fast track back to spawn, and that was standing anywhere near Decay.
They got them to use the Valkyrie right after, though. Arc had the pop Val to win that, so... Oh, wait, what?
Oh, no! Disaster strikes in the front line of the Justice. Goes for a long walk off a short cliffside, and the Eternal lick their lips. That is a mistake, whichever way you look at it. And now Paris want to set up to try and push on in here. Unbelievable.
Oh my.
Okay, Bob to the point now, and you can see just how far away Decay and Janu are, and that cap is underway. 2 ticks, the tube has already been removed, and Stitch had a bob. He had to try and stall out. What a blunder, Matthew!
Oh, man. Just when the Justice start looking like the Shock, they look like the Justice again. So man. Well, let's see this. This is FD God on the flank. Yeah, I mean, it is a tremendous play from FD God. To be fair to like Decay and Janu, like who would have expected FD God, the only one alive, to come flying out the doorway with a boom? But still, tremendous play from FD God allows Paris to take that first point.
He just kept him alive in his map, and potentially the series to go down 0-2 would be terrible here. He's a prodigy. We don't see that. We just don't see that from anyone else. That is just absurd. Janu's hacked here, so the whole hog gets cut short. We should have known it was him, really, looking at it. That's unbelievable. Sparkle EMP. Oh my! And got able to get out of line of sight just around the corner, so only Decay is actually hit by that. Still, No Smite does a lot of damage to Stitch and forces a resurrect on him. Cart's still moving, by the way, this whole time. Empty got taken down now. The team carrier, the Paris Eternal, can understand that. Unreal respect. Good target selection of priority from Decay.
Decay's still alive, though.
And he is a raid boss currently.
Yeah. I mean, they have Janu there blocking him. He ends up using the grab, captures a few players in the doorway. But like you did mention, though, no, FD God doesn't get that boop. That is potentially a Justice first point hold. Like, the Eternal are not out of the woodwork yet, as Bren would say.
And yeah, I mean, he would say that and it would be an incorrect turn of phrase, but we let him do it anyway.
Yeah.
Stitch and Janu able to double down. Decay has to be brought back here. And okay, grounded is No Smite for the time being, so we can't really help Hanbin, who's desuited him. This is getting really out of hand for Paris now.
They'll lose No Smite. They get the cart almost to this last turn here. What do they have to work with, though? You have a self-destruct. Yeah, well, what are you going to say?
See something really nasty here.
Let's
Here you
see
go.
this.
Nico, man walks into a bar with a death blossom. What do you think happens?
Oh, couldn't have been worse timing. I don't think he would have gotten anything with it anyway. I mean, everybody's just kind of walking away. Self-destruct here, EMP potentially. But look at all the damage that goes down to Hanbin. I mean, he has to use self-destruct right away. Could get a new mech.
And it's not in a location that really does any good
drop.
for him. All right, Janu gets a bubble there as well. Good EMP, as Janu was being protected at the time. Decay now is going to be charged up there, but Nico's able to find 2 quick kills. Stitch playing very far forward for an Ashe there. And the Coalescence pressuring Decay, forces the Justice back and gives the Eternal an extension of time here. And they're still very much in this, definitely thanks to the heroics of FD God.
And it's massive that the Paris Eternal, they have like the Coalescence, right? Because when the Justice go down there on the point, the EMP comes through, they have nothing to like burst Janu back up in terms of HP, right? Like a Moira, you'd be able to sleep on the Sparkle, they get a hook, take him out. So if you're Paris, you just need the completion to give yourself another chance, right? They go around on a flank. This will be Nico trying to teleport right into Stitch's face, but Stitch gets out with a coach gun.
Hanbin, I mean, oh my god, the Buddy Blaster! Someone loaded it with high explosive rounds this time because Hanbin was able to find his target. Unfortunately, the rest of the Paris Eternal, we're not feeling nearly as lethal, and this will be an extended stagger for Hanbin, who could
they could hook him and bring him back in just more time. Nope, yeah, he gets away. Yeah, he dodged it. All right.
45 seconds left on the clock, Matt. Coalescence and EMP. I mean, everything for the Paris Eternal really is available here, and the Justice sort of had to part with some key ultimates in that previous fight.
I mean, what do? They nano boost Decay here. They have a whole hog, but I mean, this is Paris's offense to lose at this point, right? With how many ultimates they have on the table.
The whole hog definitely can shut Nico down and just force him out of effective range with this Death Blossom. So he doesn't want to lose another ultimate for nothing. He has to make this one stick.
You probably EMP first, though. EMP first, negate that whole hog, and then maybe use the Death Blossom.
They pile on into the Paris Eternal, looking for Decay, who seems to be caught on his own now, and Nico secures the kill on Stitch. Sound barrier for Paris. So they lay their support ultimates at the start of the fight. They still lose Hanbin. This could go wrong. Decay gets rid of him now, and all the Eternal quickly go back to the cart. They don't want to leave it. And now this is time for the Justice to regroup, man.
They're going to regroup. That's what I was going to say. They don't really move. They don't make that much cart progress. They're going to get the bomb on the cart here to contest as well. Everything going wrong for Paris.
Johnny with the last moment steps up with the hook on Nico. Really hits a little different. And the Paris Eternal falter right before the finish line.
Oh.
And the Washington Justice, they are dominant. They move into half-time now with a 2-0 lead. Paris, the face cam say absolutely everything. Hanbin,
brutal loss.
Studying the inside of his eyelids, looking for answers because he's having just a really not good time, okay? Well, he's playing D.Va against this kind of setup. It's awful.
They don't have anybody moving the cart at all during that last fight. And what happens is the cart's not close enough that they can really benefit from those kills they got early on to result in a fight win. We saw Nico use the Death Blossom, take out Stitch. Stitch is back in that final fight to get the bomb onto the cart. The payload just a little bit too far away to not make the Justice kind of get on it really fast there towards the end, just kind of throw their bodies on it. The Justice knew they had a ton of time. They had the bomb coming out of the spawn. They're able to hold on to the charge that Decay had. Really nice play from the Justice.
The Paris Eternal, they won. I mean, they were able to win one of our cups in quite an impressive fashion, right? It was Summer Showdown, I think it was. The Paris Eternal were a dominant team over the course of this entire season. They looked amazing, but now they need to dig deeper. They need to find a quality that they maybe haven't had to rely on before because the Justice are about to dispatch them. Stick around, we're going to break now, half-time. Our experts are going to keep us apprised of all the action, and when we return, it is the last stand of the Paris Eternal to stay alive here in the lower bracket. Stick around, this is an unbelievable match.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett live from the spawn room, and it's time for a game called Name That Map. You've seen it, you love it, it's time to go again. Are you ready? Here we go. Your first hint, it's a light post. We've got palm trees, but this is no oasis. Shout out to everyone who nailed it right away. It's Havana, one of the new maps in Overwatch League. Love to see it. Congrats to everybody who's been getting these right. And stay tuned, I got plenty more coming your way. Speaking of more, we got more games up right now here on the Overwatch League 2020 playoffs.
Welcome to your game break presented by Cheese It Grooves. I'm Frankie Ward. I've got Reinforce and Custer with me, and the Justice are doing some of our predictions proud. Sorry. Oh my god, we have to talk about Lijiang Reinforce because Justice came straight out of the gate, all guns blazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we now expect from the Washington Justice. They came out on the same composition, they played all of the playoffs, and they do such a fantastic job doing so. All of the players individually are really shining, going up as the Paris Eternal. And the Paris Eternal, we highlighted this yesterday, they kept playing the Reinhardt, and it's so hard to make it work. I mean, there was a reason that Super swapped over to the Roadhog specifically on Night Market, because you become this shield, but you have a bad shield, and it's hard to really move around without your team really rallying behind you in these brawl compositions. It just felt like the Paris Eternal, they were out compositioned, and the Washington Justice do such a great job at playing this composition to its fullest potential.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's impressed me about the Washington Justice so far is they have the core of what they're going to do. They're going to have Decay on that side, Johnny's going to be on that Roadhog, but they're making minor adjustments. We saw the Pharah on the Lijiang Tower, but going on to Numbani as well, we saw them actually switch off of their Ashe Mercy and switch to a Reaper Lucio because of the aggression that the Paris Eternal were bringing to them. They made that adjustment, and it paid off in dividends. They ended up capping the first point and running it back, and that was... If you were almost this close to a full hold for the Paris Eternal and then little things go wrong, this is not how you want to go out, because it all fell apart from there. Other than the heroics from FD God, this has been a pretty one-sided match, and I'm worried. You're looking at the face cams of these Paris Eternal players, and they look dejected. You know, we saw a team yesterday against the Washington Justice in this exact same spot, the San Francisco Shock. They had Super to rally behind them, give them that hype, tell them, we're going to reverse sweep this, we're going to bring it back, this is why we're a top team. I don't see that from their players right now. They need to have a massive halftime, reevaluate everything they thought about coming into this halftime, and really sort of bring some new energy, because otherwise, this could be the end of the Paris Eternal.
There is definitely something about Decay and Crew that really gets under their opponent's skin. And actually, we've got to talk about Tuba floating above his opponent's skins, because it's time for Crunch Time presented by Cheese It Grooves. And we're going to be heading to Busan Lijiang Tower Control Center, I should say, Custer.
Yeah, we can talk about this all day, but this is a great adaptation from the Washington Justice. Benbes is in the lineup. That is a clear sign that they're going to want to play the Reinhardt. And I don't know if this is just because Benbes is here and they expect this from the Paris Eternal, but they play this Pharah and they just didn't have an answer for it, and Tuba went mental.
Yeah, and there was specifically one clip I really enjoyed as well on Night Market that Matt highlighted as well, that he got reactively nano-boosted by Aim God, he got the Zarya bubble provided from Decay, and it really feels like this is where the Washington Justice are really playing around each other as well. We like to praise Decay a lot because he gets pocket all the time by the nano-boost, and you know, he gets the Valkyrie from the Mercy as well. But when it comes down to it, Tuba is getting the same treatment on this Pharah reactively to make the most out of the composition. So this is all of the players on Washington Justice recognizing the strengths of their hero picks and playing around it depending on the situation. So I really enjoyed how they played around Tuba's Pharah, more so on Lijiang Tower, because they know how much potential it really had on that Lijiang Tower map against Paris Eternal composition.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Control Center, but obviously Night Market was an absolute highlight as well. It's just that 2v1 to clutch that map after popping the ult, remaining alive, and then bringing it home for the Justice. Incredible scenes, and I'm sure we're going to see much more as we head to Volskaya. But this is why we've got to talk about subs, because Paris are just trying everything now. They got no smite out. Sparkle is moving across from the DPS role to the tank, so guessing we're probably going to see either a Zarya or maybe a Hog there. Sparkle was obviously moved over to the tank line, so XZ is going to be in, and we're going to see XZ actually playing with Soon for the first time during the playoffs, and I think that could be a very spicy duo, Custer.
Yeah, Sparkle onto the tank. I think this is just, what we're doing isn't working. Let's try and mirror it. Let's put Sparkle on the off tank. He'll probably go onto the Zarya or the Roadhog, and I expect to see some, similar aggression. If you can't beat him, join him. I'm excited to see what they bring out.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good, really. I mean, Sparkle, Zarya, and maybe we'll see soon on the Sombra, like we talked about in the pre-show. This has the potential to be an incredible map of Overwatch. I'm so psyched to see map 3.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to see an Ashe as well for Paris. Right, let's head to a break, and when we come back, we've got Mr. X and Uber taking things over.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spawn Room, where we're super excited to tell you about a new Instagram AR game called Race to the Future, featuring our very own Sideshow, who tries to avoid obstacles while riding a hoverboard. Make sure to check out the game on the Overwatch League Instagram page, and also celebrate the Overwatch League playoffs by heading to the Download Center on OverwatchLeague.com to download your favorite team-themed wallpapers, backgrounds, banners, and icons. Let's all share our Overwatch League pride. More Overwatch League playoffs is coming up right now.
Do or die times now for the Paris Eternal. They are struggling to stay alive in this series against the Washington Justice that is bringing the heat like we've never seen before. It's 0-2 in favor of Washington, Matt.
Yeah.
And the Eternal have to show something new.
Well, it's going to be something new. Lots of subs like the desk covered. Xe and Soon are in for their damage dealers. And then how he talked about, like, hey, do we see Ben Best? Do we see No Smite in the tank role? Well, we're going to see neither of them. Sparkle will be in the tank role. This is a deviation from the plan of the Paris Eternal. This is exactly, I think, what kind of Custo is talking about, where if we can't beat them, join them. Let's try and mirror it. Put Sparkle on like a Roadhog or a Zarya, whichever he wants to play, and see how it goes. Maybe you have Xe play something like a Widow or an Ashe here, potentially soon on like Sombra Tracer. You can still play like Reaper-centric stuff with this lineup too. You may as well give it a shot, because playing the dive into it, like we've seen some teams do and have success, was not happening for Paris.
Yeah, I mean, some teams have played dive on Volskaya, defensive dive as well. They've used the Winston. It's very difficult to do that successfully, especially in a world where, you know, the enemy team Sombra is popping off and is really disrupting your tanks a heck of a lot. The Paris Eternal have just grabbed their roster and they've just tried to stuff every ounce of star player they can into it, right? I mean, FD God can only do so much on his own, right? He can only do so many ridiculous things to keep his team alive. This is where it either ends for the Paris Eternal or where they mount their comeback. Nothing in between will suffice. The Justice will be starting on the attacking side here, and they will probably keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, there's no reason for the Justice to change anything up. Maybe like you change up like the damage dealers, right, that you're gonna play, but if they want to mirror it, you take that every day if you're the Justice. So you've been putting in lots of work on it. So Sparkle will be on the Zarya on defense, Hanbin on the Roadhog, and then they'll play Ashe with Tracer here, so no Sombra in the mix. What do the Justice decide to do? Imagine the Justice came out with a look like this. Probably won't happen, but it could,
Banjo, I'm here for it.
Could you imagine if they came out with Johnny on the Winston and Decay on the Diva? The Diva, nah. Not a chance.
Paris Eternal here. Definitely trying to give Soon and Exi their best looks possible.
Now you could play
Ashe, respectively.
You could play Batiste, but you're gonna play the Widow and the Mercy. I mean, the Immortality field would be nice, like in the Roadhog v Roadhog matchup, to ditch like the Biotic Grenade, but.
All right. Troop on the Tracer. So Stitch on the Widow. We actually saw this earlier today. An attempt. It was an overtime attempt, though.
Yes.
Trying to get the Widowmaker to find like a big pick to sort of decide the fight there and then.
Makes it harder for the Ashe.
Didn't quite work out.
Yeah. You can play these longer sightlines. Yep. Looks like though he's going to give up on it straight away. He'll go to Ashe. So they're going to play like this Roadhog damage game, where almost like, you remember how like Goats in the past, you could have just like played in the neutral for a little bit, just kind of traded the dance of the bubbles and the shields, and it's kind of what we're going to see here between these two teams.
It's about forcing the Roadhog out into this Zenyatta's purview, right? Get good value out of Discord Orb on a health tank, and well, maybe you don't need it. FD God is down. I mean, he put the man on Mercy. It's going to be a tough time for him anyway, but there's no healing. No healing, Paris. So they better pack it in now and get ready for a point B hold, because this one is over.
So benefit here for the Eternal, looking at it kind of like the best case scenario. They're not running like a Sombra, so not a huge risk of getting snowballed. They don't have like a grab either. But you know, with the extra damage of like having a Zen in the mix though, you could easily see somebody get Discord and burn down, just like we just saw.
Paris now, again, still the same issue for them. It's still dealing with the Zenyatta. Obviously quite dangerous is the Transcendence. If Sparkle, might be able to build up a grab, that's all well and good, but Transcendence could answer that. Oh no! The FD God has to resurrect that, he does instantly, but Harmony is pulled out to the open. Discord Orb could be applied, there has to be a Biotic Grenade immediately deployed by Fielder to keep the Roadhog alive. Stitch is traded out, but Arc hasn't resurrected. Aimgod's going to step forward with the Transcendence now, making it possible to interrupt Arc, but Janu gets hit with a nasty Biotic Grenade from Fielder. It may not be enough though. Decay is being healed up and he's shielded. He's looking for Sparkle. The damage is there. The Discord Orb also applied prior by AimGod, and that's already 2 ticks. The Justice just don't stop. Soon's gone down. Harmon has to step up. He walks straight to X's crosshairs. A Discord Orb on him as well. You get an orb. You get an orb. And the Paris Eternal can't even stay on the point.
Did you see the play Decay just made, by the way? The Roadhog is coming through the choke, and there's, I believe it's Fielder playing off to the side there on the Ana, and he uses the Zarya cannon to boost himself up onto the high ground on the backside of the point, beams the Fielder on the Ana behind on the left side, then turns and bubbles AimGod when Hanbin walks in on the Roadhog. Just a sick play there from Decay. But yeah, Paris, I mean, I was talking about not getting snowballed, but as soon as they lose Exi early on, it is tough after that.
Yeah, this is 2B here. I mean, he knew with Mercy down, Ana was absolutely the next stop. And he gets to run wild. Like, what's really stopping him here? No risk of I mean, Ash already hates dealing with Tracer as it is. Without Diana, snake darts and such, Tuba just does what he wants.
You're also bringing in a player in Exi who didn't play the first 2 maps. So you're bringing him in after halftime when you're already down 0-2 to try and deal with like the Tracer or like a Sombra. It's a big ask, especially at this moment in the series.
Paris Eternal bowed out last year in the playoffs. Well, they didn't really get there. Let's just say that. It was not a banner year for them here. This is definitely the franchise's best look, but they are up against just an absolute shocking Washington Justice array. Look, and I don't think anyone could have been ready for this.
But I think, though, if you're an Overwatch League fan, if you're a fan of some teams that haven't had the best year, is Aim God with a headshot there on FD God, it kind of gives you hope for the future, right? Look at where this Justice team was, 3 weeks ago, right? One player in the right meta gives you something that could turn into this, right? I mean, this could happen to just about any team in the league.
This is a roster that people thought would do well, albeit with Corey and Stratus at their help, but they're arguably able to do better here. Stitch, if he gets away with this, come on. Bubbled by Decay, who, by the way, he steps up with his own shield and body blocks the rest of that damage, so there's nothing Hanbin and Co can do. Paris Eternal looked deflated, haggard.
Yeah, like Scott said, they didn't have the... It almost looked like from like the cams, like they kind of could see the writing on the wall. But you need somebody who can kind of rally the troops there, right? And be like, hey, we can do this. Like, oh no, 1 map at a time. Like, let's bring it back. Like, at least from the way their cams were. I mean, look, you're not even getting fights here. You're losing a player every time you even get near the choke.
Soon's able to force a recall here. Tuba wants to get in his head. He should definitely pulse on him. Just saying, he has no recall. Okay, Soon's able to win the duel. Arc can resurrect, but it might be a little too dangerous.
Nah, you're not even going to go for it. You have Transcendence and Valkyrie coming online. There's no reason to risk going for the res.
Some really clean DPS individual play here. Exi controls the high ground, and he dishes out his own brand of justice. Washington, not a fan of that one, but they have no choice.
Aim God with 1. All right, they deal with Arc. That's good.
That was stunning. Exi, I mean, doesn't even need the dynamite damage there, really. Finds Arc, the headshot removes him. Aim God is set in the back line, and the Eternal, okay. Looking much improved in the last minute or so. We'll get a shot to march on point B.
Big plays from Exi, though. I mean, it kind of starts, I guess, with Soon winning the Tracer 1v1 and unlocking that high ground for Exi, and as soon as he gets it, just clicking heads there from a distance. Both teams will have a Transcendence here. Coming in this next fight, as Exi will have the Bob to use here. Yep, gonna use it right off the bat, but you lose Soon.
Just a split second there, and Soon just gets ripped out of formation by Stitch. And Fielder used Transcendence, but he can't keep him alive. Instead, Exi has to be resurrected after getting hit with the Pulse Bomb. Now he needs something heroic like we saw beforehand. The problem is high ground, not nearly as available to him as it was on the last point. Stitch is just dishing it out.
And the Justice make the right decision. Give up a tick to just come back to the point safely. No reason to run onto it to try and contest when the Bob is there and the Roadhog. Just don't give them an opportunity to win the game there.
I just want to make it really clear that Exi is doing an incredible job on Ash right now. But he has 9 of his team's 12 final blows. Soon has 1 on Tracer. Whereas Tuba on the Tracer for Justice has 9 final blows. He has to step up. I said that about him in map number 1. Exi is doing so much, but the rest of Eternal need to link to his level.
Yeah, you know, they did, the kill that Soon did get, though, allowed Exi to get a lot of those final blows, right? Gave him the high ground, so you can kind of look at it that way as well.
Very true. Yeah. Garnet cleans him up. We already had to take a breather there.
It's so smart that he waits for, he could have hooked him straight away and brought him in to try and burn him down. But as soon as he's using the take a breather, that's when the hook comes through from Johnny.
The Eternal, no matter what, will be behind in time bank. But they have plenty to work with on this attack still. I mean, not just the Graviton Surge and whole combination.
6 ults on D, though.
Yeah, I mean, and the Justice will eventually part with some of these, but they'll want to ration them out. I mean, the Eternal get punished by Transcendencing in a fight where Soon and Exi die, like, within a second of each other. Bob goes in. Janu greets him
down,
and bids him farewell. Fondly, of course. Discord Orb makes it very easy to get rid of him. Very short amount of time. Janu's confused as to where the Eternal are. Decay, though, knows exactly what's going on. High ground Graviton Surge. There'll be a res here, so actually still 6v6. Decay's very low and actually has to chill around the corner here.
It's burning clock though. Clock going out. Discord Orb there on a Hanbin.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You don't really see Sparkle on the screen. Maybe he thought they were going to back out, but...
XE has the hard carry again.
XE gets 2 and DGon pops Valkyrie, so maybe they think they can win this.
Well, Transcendence now comes into play. XE's not there, but soon steps up at just the right time. Okay, nice Graviton Surge for the higher ground now. Keeps Art in place. And the Justice all back away. They have a Transcendence at least to stall with. Aim God can sort of lead the charge out. And then there can be a hold hog to create some more space to defend this point adequately. Soon, okay, not able to shut down Aim God. That's the Transcendence, but they do lose 2 bit in the meantime. Hold hog comes down, forcing the Justice off the point. Capture percentage ticking up the Eternal. Watching them need to touch, and they do. At the final moment, they get a hold hog on their own course. The recall from Soon, but Janu goes down. He was vulnerable, and the Eternal get themselves on the point B. Coming alive in the last couple of moments here. They're a long way behind in time bank, but they're in with a fighting chance now.
Yeah, it looks like the Justice, whoever was contesting, lost the battle of the point, and Arc flying back across on the Mercy, not able to contest there. They almost actually get it when Hanbin uses the whole hog, knocks everybody back. You can take a look. Yeah. You'll see Decay here. Yep, go to the side.
Oh, Soon gets damage boosted by the looks there. He gets like a full clip headshot into Janu.
You see the supports went to the side, and then when Stitch, dies, the Arc is trying to get back onto the point, but not able to do so.
Okay, maybe a little bit of a letter number there from the Justice. They're fine. They're up by 3 minutes. I mean, they finished Volskaya with 4:38 in the bank, which obviously we've seen our fastest map time Volskaya presented by Xfinity multiple times. 5 minutes and 8, I believe, is the threshold to get into the top 5. So they're pretty. I mean, it's very fast. Make no mistake.
It's the downside of pocketing Decay so hard, right? Both supports end up flying over towards Decay. They have nobody to help Stitch on the point.
That's right. If you isolate Decay, you've isolated 3 players.
Yeah.
So maybe none of them were actually isolated at all.
Nope.
You just cut the team in half. Okay. Now, what value does that provide to the Paris Eternal? Maybe not so much if Decay keeps belting them. A raid boss with pink nails, Matt. I'm here for it.
So the initial pushes from Paris, see, like, you don't have a lot of time, but the way they played their offense the last time, they just kept getting picked off one by one. They'll trade here. Tracer. I mean, they're gonna get the res, right?
Get that quick res. Not the same for Justice as far as you can tell. Johnny hooked out into the open. Notice the Hanbin very deliberate where he wanted Johnny to end up. It works out. Paris do very well here with only like a minute or so to work with.
Yeah.
Now they move on to the point.
And Janu's using to take a breather while he gets hooked, so denied all of that extra healing, the damage reduction. Decay with 2. Janu on the ball.
It's not even charged up. Okay, just one tick that Eternal aren't really capturing right now.
Decay with another.
He doesn't need charge if he has a Discord Orb to boost his damage. It's virtual charge anyway, and the Eternal have to back away. That hurts. Oh, it hurts so badly.
And then Aim God takes out Fielder. You have to burn the res here too. The Zen really paid off. Aim God has looked better than he's looked all season in the last few games.
XE is flatter deadlifting his team right now, and it's not enough. Soon valiantly tries to go in for the one clip and isn't quite able to get it with the healing available from Arc. Empty God pops back, so the Eternal mean business now is do or die. But Janu comes back. The vaunted wrecking ball pick from Janu just shakes Sparkle to the core. And there's no pop for him at all. He's forced out. Empty God trying to go for a resurrect, but that is where the Paris Eternals push will end. And now they sit at the feet of a literal giant in the form of the Justice and await their judgment. 4 minutes and 38 seconds remain for the Justice to get 42.7% on point A. This is it for Paris.
Janu comes in with the ground pound on the Wrecking Ball, takes out Sparkle on the Zarya, and then gets another. Look, I mean, we've seen Janu play Wrecking Ball in the past. Remember when the old Vancouver Titans, when they would run the Bumzo as the third DPS,
Bumzo.
they would run the Bumzo because Janu played the ball. So we know that, I mean, look at the Vancouver Titans with the way they were as a team last year and how good they were, felt confident with Janu running Wrecking Ball. You know, you have to feel like it's pretty viable if he comes out on it, you know, in the last moments there for the Justice.
Matt,
yes.
I don't think the Eternal were ready for this meta. They have brought Sparkle in to play the Zarya, and he has not been able to get anything done. His first 2 kills came just now in that last round.
Well, you can be ready for the meta, but you could also just not excel at the meta, which forces you to play something else. I mean, maybe that's kind of the case. Like,
but if you were ready for the meta, wouldn't you excel at it? Or would you at least be?
Well, no, maybe you just
not
don't
in
have
this position.
I mean, you could not have the right roster kind of to put it together. I mean, that's also another thing. Think about how many teams that have had to move like a DPS player or another who don't even have a second off tank, right? To put in the Roadhog role and then also play other things. Oh, Aim got with the pick there on XE, he'll get the res, but
that's amazing. It forces an early res here. Aim God eventually is punished for this hubris. And there'll be a resurrect on him as well. And the Justice aren't done yet. XE getting pressured down now by Tuba.
Decay's up there on the high ground too now.
This fight soon. This could be it now. Soon goes down to a headshot. XE needs to find a kill on Stitch from the low ground, but it's going to come too late, if at all. The Eternal are done. This rooster has been cooked, and the Washington Justice continue the miracle run of the 2020 playoffs. They advance in the losers bracket, and the Eternal, devastated as they're sent home. Their season is over.
Nobody wants to play the Justice right now.
Oh my, I don't know if you saw what he did to the camera. He did a finger across the throat like Reaper.
The Justice, they're coming for blood. They may have slept through the whole regular season, but who cares? I mean, they're dominating here in the playoffs. As Stitch has come alive as a hit scan player, we know what Decay has been doing on Zarya. I think it's a bit tough, I would assume, for like a Paris Eternal fan or even the team, right, to lose in this type of fashion to the Justice. But they are losing to a team that you kind of throw, with how the meta is right now, you throw the regular season completely out the window in terms of, because we've never seen anything like this in terms of what you play. So you kind of look at the postseason as almost like an extension of like another stage, right? Everybody starts fresh at 0. And they happen to run into one of the best teams that we've seen so far. They lose barely, the Justice, the other day to the Shock. I mean, they're in a position where they could have 3-0'd the Shock yesterday. I mean, this is a team that the Justice that is clicking on that type of level. So I think there's nothing really to kind of frown about if you're the Eternal, losing to a team like Washington in its current state.
Yeah, I mean, they drew the short straw. And Washington, you're right, they can look at this just as the Countdown Cup, except double elimination and a lot more prize money, I guess. And that seems to be the way they're treating it. New team, new meta, new outlook. Incredible stuff. Our player of the match, presented by Xfinity today, will be Arc from the Justice. Obviously, we saw a lot of his Mercy action there. Very impressive. And you can see just how much of an impact he's having constantly, giving this damage boost to everyone who needed it.
Yeah, pretty good today on the Mercy there for the Justice. I mean, look, the Justice had a pretty good day overall, right? I mean, Decay on Zarya was like absolutely just dominating a lot of these games as well. I think Stitch too. It's pretty hard to pick from the Justice, especially such a commanding win like that.
Obviously, it's Decay. Obviously, it was a fantastic job. Obviously, like, we don't want to take anything away from what Arc was able to do over the course of that series, but Decay is absolutely insane right now.
When you said Arc, I was like, yeah, Arc was all right, but like, I was like, this is the one time I may be like, I don't agree with you. I was like, Decay was pretty decent today.
Yeah. Look, you must forgive us for having a little bit of fun with that. Decay clearly a shining star on the side of the Justice there. Looked absolutely indomitable, but it was, of course, because a lot of the backup he receives from his teammates. But it doesn't matter. If one person can do this kind of work on a team, with or without those kind of resources, you're just going to win games. So congratulations to Decay, of course, that player of the match presented by Xfinity.
I think we should give it to both Arc and Decay. I feel bad. that you tried to trick me. And I did talk nice about Arc, and I thought Arc did have a good game on Mercy, so I'm giving it to both of them today.
Oh, well, they obviously they do look incredible, and a big shout out to the way that this team's been able to turn their fortunes around. Astonishing stuff, and here is your winners bracket right now for NA. This is obviously what we'll see a little bit later on in the day. In fact, coming up just after this, Fusion v Valiant, Shock v Reign. Like I said, it's been a whole year, exactly to the day, that the Reign knocked the Shock down into the losers bracket of the 2019 playoffs.
I don't know if we'll see it again. I think the Shock definitely got a little bit of a wake-up call the other day against the Justice. I'm excited to see the Philadelphia Fusion play the Valiant. I think that is going to be a tremendous game as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, the loser of the Fusion or Valiant will go down and play against the Justice. Now, Packing had some choice words for DP, who obviously was vanquished by the Justice, but it might be more than one Los Angeles team that goes that same way. That lower bracket is frightening. You have two teams that are looking like easy top 4 candidates in NA right now, maybe even better. So from here on out, you have absolute banger games from start to finish there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you feel safer in the upper bracket than the lower bracket, not only because you have an extra chance, but of course just the kind of teams we're dealing with. Ridiculous stuff, very impressive, and of course we're going to get to hear some words now from the victors, some choice phrases from Arc with Reinforce.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Yes, I'm here with Arc from the Washington Justice, and you just can't stop winning. I mean, you have to feel great, Arc. It's been a long season, and now you knock out the Paris Eternal, the number 3 seed. How are you feeling, Arc, after that win?
Actually, this season was probably my hardest season so far. I've been like 3 seasons, but this was the hardest one since many teammates were changed and like atmosphere was really, really bad because, you know, because of the Corona things, we couldn't do homestand and lots of issues. So it was really hard, but like overcoming it and like becoming a really good team feels really great.
Yeah, understandably so, absolutely. Obviously, going back to yesterday, you did play a very good match against the San Francisco Shock, but unfortunately you got reverse swept there. How did the team regroup and recharge after that matchup? How did you restore your energy going into today?
After like yesterday match, when we like talked about the match, we actually found that we weren't clarified that which comp you want to use against certain comps, and I personally want to thanks to Shock because they used like 8 comps yesterday, so we had to counter all of them, and actually it helped a lot, like clarifying which comp we have to use against this comp, that comp, because we are using like the awkward comp that no one uses. I think, yeah, it actually helps us a lot about those things, I guess. And yeah, it was a close match, and even though we lost, there's like one more chance, not like because it's double elimination. We just go homeward. It's not like that. So I think it was a great chance that we actually had a like decent chance that we can learn something and improve like Shock last year.
Yeah, because I did think that going into today's match, you looked really good as a team against the Paris Eternal. And you know, I've been a player too, but it looked like you guys played with a lot more confidence, like you were helping Tuba out on the Pharah, and AimGod has some great nano boosts as well, just reactionary. Where is this confidence coming from as a team?
I think it comes from many people come from personal mechanical skills and also belief to each other. I think it helps a lot because as many people know, like right now our picks are like the most confident pick of every player in the team. So every player has like the confidence on their picks, and also because they believe each other, because of that, like it just makes like lots of synergy from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand that. And you can really see that come into play when you see your composition. Now, you did mention against Shock, of course, they played so many different compositions. If you happen to make a bit of a lower bracket run now here and play either the Philadelphia Fusion or the San Francisco Shock, do you think you have what it takes to take those teams down now?
I think we have confidence that we can win like higher teams. I wouldn't say that this 100% we're gonna win. I don't want to be like the, you know, like super, you know. but I think it's just there's like lots of more chances this stage. I feel like because we almost won Shock yesterday, we actually like got lots of confidence from it, even though we lost it. So I think there's a higher chance.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, as someone who's been able to watch you play now in the Overwatch League for 3 years, I just gotta say that I'm so happy to see you smile and laugh and be happy as well, because it's been a brutal year. But now in the playoffs, the Washington Justice are really coming alive. So best of luck moving forward in the lower bracket round, Orc.
Thank you very much, Reinforce.
All right, thank you so much, Orc, for that quick interview. We got more playoff awards coming your way. Stay tuned after this break.